All right, let's talk about a 3D printer that has completely shaken up the scene, the Bambu Lab X1-Carbon. I mean, the hype has been off the charts, right? Every review seems to rave about its incredible speed, its push-button automation, and of course, its multicolor printing. But if you're actually thinking about dropping the cash on one, you've got to look past all that surface-level praise. So that's what we're going to do today. Think of this less like another review and more like your final study session before the big exam. You know, the one where you decide whether to buy it or not.
You know, this one image right here, I think it just says it all. On one side, you've got the promise of a perfect print, straight out of the box. But then, you've got that little arrow pointing to the word almost. And let's be real, in 3D printing, that word almost is doing a lot of heavy lifting. It's the difference between a beautiful, successful 12-hour print and a frustrating pile of plastic spaghetti. So the real question we're tackling today is, if you own this thing, how often are you going to be celebrating a perfect print versus, well, cleaning up an almost?
Okay, so here's our syllabus for today's session. First, we're going to look at that perfect printer promise. You know, what all the hype is actually about. Then we're going to get into the stuff you don't always hear about. The dreaded long print problem, the hidden costs of printing in color, and some of the real-world hardware headaches. And to finish it off, we'll have our final buyer's exam. Basically, a few key questions to help you figure out if this printer is actually the one for you. Sound good? Let's dive in.
All right, section 1. Look, before we start pointing out the problems, we have to be fair. We've got to acknowledge why the X1-Carbon got everyone so excited in the first place. I mean, the hype didn't come from nowhere, right? There's some really good reasons for it, and it's important we get on the same page about what all those glowing reviews are getting absolutely right. This is, the foundation of its entire reputation.
And the praise for this thing was, well, it was immediate and it was huge. We're not just talking about YouTubers here. I mean, major publications like Time magazine called it one of the best inventions of the year. So this wasn't just some niche hobbyist buzz. The printer's massive appeal really boils down to three main things that created this perfect storm of hype. Crazy speed, super user-friendly automation, and that game-changing multi-material system, the AMS.
So let's unpack that a bit. First up, speed. It's built on a corexy system. Now, all that really means is that the printhead moves around using this really clever belt setup, which lets it be way faster and more precise. They claim speeds up to 500 millimeters per second, but honestly, the real magic is the acceleration. It's how fast it gets up to speed and zips around corners that just slashes print times. Second, the automation. This is the whole "it just works" dream. It's got automatic bed leveling, it cancels out vibrations, it even has a little camera to inspect the first layer for you. It's all designed to get rid of the hours and hours of tweaking that, let's face it, a lot of us are used to. And last but not least, the color. That AMS unit lets you print with up to 4 different colors or even different materials in one go, automatically. That is a huge creative boost for so many people.
Okay, so now we get why everyone's so excited. But now it's time for our first major reality check, because we're about to talk about the kinds of problems that you're just not going to see in a quick 30-minute test print. Nope, this is what can happen when you start using the machine for real, for those big, ambitious projects.
And this is where things get kind of weird. It's the big paradox of the X1-Carbon. All that amazing automation pretty much guarantees you'll get a perfect start. That first layer will look gorgeous, but as a lot of owners have found out the hard way, a flawless start doesn't mean you're going to get a successful finish. The tough reality for some is a print that fails hours, and I mean hours into the job after it's already used up a ton of your expensive filament.
And look, this isn't just some random one-off thing. People in the community have started to notice a pattern of symptoms. It usually starts with what looks like minor under-extrusion, but it just gets worse and worse over a few hours. You might even hear that horrible clicking sound of the extruder grinding your filament. Or you walk away for a bit, come back, and boom, you've got sudden gaps in your layers, or the infill looks all weak and stringy. These are like the textbook symptoms of this long print problem.
And this brings us to a really common mistake that both reviewers and new buyers fall into. You just can't judge this printer's reliability on short little demo prints. It's a huge mistake. These specific failures, they're often related to heat building up and issues with keeping the extrusion consistent over a long time. They almost always pop up somewhere between the 3 and 8 hour mark. So a quick test print, it's going to completely miss this potential flaw. The key takeaway here is you've got to test for endurance, not just for a quick sprint.
So, quick recap for this section. The X1-Carbon's automation is amazing for getting that perfect start, but it absolutely does not guarantee a successful finish, especially when you're running those really long, multi-hour jobs.
All right, let's move on to section 3. Here, we're going to tackle two things.
the firmware trap, and the hidden costs of printing in color. Now, these are things that are definitely not obvious right when you unbox the printer, but trust me, they become a very real part of owning this machine long term.
First up, let's talk about something owners have started calling firmware drift. So here's what happens. Bambu Lab pushes out a new software update for the printer, right? But buried in that update, they might quietly change some fundamental print settings, like pressure advance or how it handles acceleration. And the result? All those custom print profiles you spent hours and hours dialing in, suddenly, they don't work so well anymore. They start giving you lower quality prints, and you're left scratching your head.
And this leads us to another very common mistake. We all do it, right? You see that little update available notification, and you just mash that button, thinking it's only going to make things better. Well, with the X1-Carbon, if you update the firmware without going back and retuning all your profiles, you can actually make your print quality worse. Seriously. A setting that worked perfectly yesterday might give you garbage results today, all because something changed under the hood in the software.
Okay, now let's switch gears and talk about what is, for a lot of people, the star of the show, the AMS, the Automatic Material System. I mean, look at it. It's just such a clean, elegant piece of kit that sits right on top of the printer. And what it does is just incredible. It unlocks so much creative potential by letting you do seamless, multicolored printing. It's definitely the feature that makes you go, wow.
But that wow factor comes with a hidden price tag, and it could be a really big one. See, every time the printer changes color, it has to push out all the old filament from the hot end to make way for the new one. And all that purged material? It's just waste. It gets pooped out the back. On a really complex multicolor print, that waste can be anywhere from 20 to even 35% of the total filament you use. Think about that. Over time, that adds up to a huge expense. We're talking about literally throwing away one full spool of filament for every 3 spools you actually print with. That's a lot.
So the quick recap for this section is pretty simple. First, you got to be careful with firmware updates because that firmware drift can mess up your perfectly tuned profiles. And second, that amazing multicolor printing from the AMS, it's awesome, but it comes at a pretty high and frankly surprising cost in wasted filament.
All right, section 4. Let's talk about the hardware, the nuts and bolts of the machine itself, and some of the practical, real-world headaches you might face just living with this thing day to day. This is all about the physical reality of owning one, from how it's built and how you fix it, to the actual impact it's going to have on your home or your workshop.
I think this quote really nails it. You're trading openness for convenience. See, the X1-Carbon isn't like an Ender 3 or a Prusa where you can buy parts from a dozen different places online because they're all standardized. No, Bambu Lab has built what's called a closed ecosystem. Now, the parts are definitely high quality, but they're also proprietary. And that's the big trade-off you have to be okay with right from the start.
So let's get specific, because these points are super important. First, those proprietary parts. We're talking the hot end, certain parts of the motion system, pieces for the AMS. You can only buy them from Bambu Lab. So what happens when they're out of stock or on back order? Well, your very expensive printer just became a paperweight. Second, the noise. This thing is fast and powerful, and that means it is loud. Way, way louder than your typical bed slinger printer. You know, the ones where the bed moves back and forth. It can be seriously disruptive if you've got it in a main living area. And finally, yeah, it's got cool carbon fiber rods, but they're not indestructible. The frame has its stress points, and all those high-speed vibrations can take a toll over time.
So quick recap here. If you buy an X1-Carbon, you're making a conscious choice. You're accepting that you'll be locked into their closed ecosystem for parts and repairs, and you absolutely have to be prepared for how loud this machine gets when it's running at full tilt.
Okay, we've made it to our final section, and honestly, this is the most important one, the final buyer's exam. We've covered the hype, we've uncovered the hidden realities, now it's time to put it all together into a simple framework that'll help you make a smart, informed decision. This table pretty much lays it all out, nice and simple. On one side, the X1-Carbon is probably for you if you care about raw speed and it just works convenience more than anything else. It's for you if you want awesome multicolor prints and you've made your peace with the filament waste. And it's for you if you're totally cool with being in that proprietary ecosystem. On the other hand, it's probably not for you if you need absolute predictable reliability for super long can't-fail prints. It's not for you if you love printing with soft, flexible filaments, because those can be a real pain in the AMS. And it's definitely not for you if you're someone who demands open-source parts and the freedom to easily repair and tinker with your own machine. Okay, so let's wrap this all up in a final summary. The hype about the speed and automation? Totally real. But you have to know its limits. The risk of those long print failures and the headaches from firmware changes are real, and people don't talk about them enough.
The AMS, it's a powerhouse, a total game changer, but it's going to cost you in wasted filament. When you strip it all away, it comes down to one core trade-off. You're swapping convenience and speed for openness and maybe even better long-term reliability that you'd get from a more traditional printer.
So to finish up, I want to leave you with a few key questions. These are for you to ask yourself. There are no right or wrong answers here, but how you answer will tell you a lot about whether this printer is a good fit. So, question 1, what are you actually going to be printing? Are you mostly going to run quick jobs, stuff under 3 hours, or are your projects going to be those long, multi-hour, maybe even multi-day epics? Your answer to that one connects directly to how likely you are to run into that long print failure problem.
Question 2 is all about the money. Is wasting, let's say, 20 to 35% of your filament every single time you do a multicolor print, is that an acceptable cost for your hobby or for your business? Really be honest with yourself about how much color printing you'll actually do, and think about what that waste is going to look like after a year. All right, question 3. This one's more about your personality, your philosophy. How important is it to you to have open source parts, to be able to buy components from whoever you want, to have total manual control over every little setting on your printer? Or are you the kind of person who's happy to just let the manufacturer take care of all that for you?
Question 4 is just pure logistics. Think about your actual living space. Do you have a dedicated workshop or a garage or a basement where a loud machine can just run for 15 hours straight and not bother anyone? Or is this thing going to be sitting in the corner of your home office, right next to where you work?
And finally, question number 5. This is the big one. What is the real reason you want this printer? Are you buying it for that instant it just works gratification? That thrill of getting amazing prints right out of the box? Or is your number one priority long-term, predictable, rock-solid reliability, print after print after print? I think your answer to that question is going to tell you everything you need to know.